It's Mike Levin, April 3rd, Friday, and it's a day off from work, but I thought it was about time I added search engine position tracking to Pipulate. And I figured I'd give this video as much of a from scratch flavor as possible. And so I am going to start by just performing a search, let's say in incognito mode in Google. And so I type in, for example, my name, and I see the stuff come up. I am, of course, in position 1 and 2, and the first image, and position 3. Now, I'm actually going to not scrape. When you get up to this point in the big position tracking question in SEO software, the question is to scrape or not to scrape. And how can you not scrape? Well, little known fact, there is a still active API at ajax.googleapis.com/ajax/services/search/web ? Query equals Mike Levin. And watch what comes back. This is a JSON object containing the search result on Mike Levin. And it's in old school top 10 mode, which is always underlying the search results, even how Google superimposes geo-customization and local and Google Plus connections when you're logged in. They're still underlying all of that a semblance of old school top 10. And here you can see the unescaped URL. And I guess there's an escaped URL here, and I'll have to choose between the two of them. And I'm also going to try and be very efficient as I do this because we are up against a quota. You can only hit this API so many times. So I'm going to pause. Well, okay. So I'm logged in here on the Pipulate server. I will be pausing throughout this video because there's thinking I'm going to need to do. But this goes in functions.py as if it were a user function. Basically everything that is not the Pipulation behavior is something that can be used in a column name, such as position tracking will be, goes into functions.py. And I'll put this right at the top for simplicity's sake, def, and I'll call it positions because this is going to be done in several passes. First positions, then position, because you want to grab all the data if you can. And in the same way we do a hello world, I can just kind of go like this, return. And just as a place to store that URL, I'm going to put that there. It's kind of a crazy way to begin, but it does capture the piece of data that's so important about this project. And I did that on the real Pipulate.com server. I'm working live here. Not a great idea now that I'm starting to sign up beta testers, but nonetheless, it's a great way to get the point across. I've got a Pipulate bookmarklet here. I'll visit it to make sure. It's the local host version, so I go to Pipulate.com, delete that bookmarklet, get the new one. Not sure what I deleted there, but I'll delete two. I know that this is the good one. And if I go into Google Spreadsheets, what the heck, let you see my spreadsheets, who cares? All this stuff is Pipulate related anyway, and I'll do new sheet. Not sure if you'll see that from behind the my video image. I'll make this a little smaller so you can see the whole thing. I'm naming the sheet. Let us name it position, or no, we'll call it SERPs because it's a SERPs function that we're making. And now I should be able to put in word positions and a question mark, hit the Pipulate bookmarklet, log into Pipulate, choose my account, and when it allows me to, hit accept for OAuth 2 login. Remember, the Pipulate servers know almost nothing about you or your data. It's only connected long enough to do the deed and move on. Everything of value is in your Google Docs spreadsheet, which is part of the brilliance of this system, because Pipulate servers are the throwaway bit and your spreadsheets are the important bit. So you can start out on pipulate.com, move to your own server, whatever. And so Pipulate goes in and starts to initialize the document, creating your documentation tab, your config tab, and after it does all its tab setup, the scrapers, it'll come back here and it'll Pipulate the open sheet, the sheet that's in position 1. And there you can see that's the same as doing hello world, but we want to output what is actually those search results. I can just shove the whole JSON object in there, and that's probably what I'll do just to get this video started and to sort of plant my flag in this position functions. I probably won't do the whole position functions in this video, but it's going to be quite insightful, I believe. So I look for somewhere else where I use the requests object with JSON. I'm just going to search for the word JSON in there. There it is right there. And you can pull back the JSON of a response object. So these are the 3 magic things. I don't think I'm going to need walk_dict at this point, although we might need it later. I'm going to copy those 2. G semicolon to jump back to where I had been typing, ZZ to center it on my screen the best it can given it's at the top, and then P for pasting beneath where my cursor is. Vim is awesome, by the way. Everyone should be using it. Who is serious about having a text editor they can learn forever for their entire life, getting better and better, achieving a sort of samurai Jedi mastery. So, request.post. This is not what we want. It's a simple get, and we'll put this into a value called API. DW for delete word. And let's see, I'll put my query in here. This isn't necessarily the best way to do it. Oh, we don't have to send a JSON object on the request. Plus Mike.Levin, just to sort of simulate what we were doing before. And we get a dictionary back, which is reading the response object, knowing it's JSON, and it turns it into a Python dictionary. And so if I return a dict, what you should be seeing in place of that URL and the other thing is the search results for Mike Levin in JSON through a Google API. Let's see if that is true. And then this will be my first video in making the position function for Pipulate. There will be follow-ons because, you know, just grabbing the first page of results on one keyword does not a position function make. But it is, in fact, a very solid foundation for position tracking directly in Google Docs. Thanks for joining me. Hope to talk to you soon, and don't forget to subscribe.